Good morning. I'm Neil King, Chief Building Official for the City of Sioux Falls. We're just here this morning as weather is getting warmer and days are getting longer. We just wanted to go over a few things about building permits, when you need them, why you need them, some of the benefits of taking out a permit. So first and foremost, why do we need building permits? Safety. Safety is our number one concern. Building codes establish a minimum standard for all our buildings in Sioux Falls to follow. This is for fire, life safety, and structural components of a home. Second, it can protect your home's value. When you have permits taken out for your projects and inspections done, it just verifies that your plumbing, electrical, mechanical systems are all installed right, so they're working properly for you when your projects are complete. The exterior of your building, re-roofs, side windows, we're just making sure those components are done properly. Your house is weather sealed, reduce the risk of any potential weather issues you may have. And thirdly, it'll save you money. Verifying that these systems are properly installed are going to maximize the expected lifetime of those products, especially shingles, siding, that exterior stuff, and just reduce your yearly maintenance costs on those products. Sale of a home, get a lot of calls that I did this project or that project without a permit. When it comes to sell your home, well, then we have a problem. You still have to come take your permit out and get your project proper inspections that might consult or result in some deconstruction of some work that has been done. So that's another reason you want to make sure you get permits and inspections. And then lastly, it's the law. It's city ordinance that you're required to get permits and inspections for certain projects. So building services team, we're located over at City Center. We handle your project from planning stages we can give you to reviewing your plans, reviewing your permits, or issuing your permits, and our inspection team. We're all under the building services department. With that, I will hand it over to Corey Fickbaum. He's our permitting support manager, and he'll give you a little more details on when and what types of projects require permits.
Thank you, Neil. Good morning. I'm Corey Fickbaum, permitting support manager. I'll go over some common permits that are typically issued to Sioux Falls residents. Starting with building permits, most projects that people do with their homes require building permits. Building permits are required to ensure compliance for building code, structural integrity, and also life safety for building, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing work being done. Permit requests may require site plans, floor layouts, and other building drawings to be approved. Some examples of these permits would be repair permits, windows and doors being replaced with the same roof opening, siding, and also reshingle permits for the roofs. These permits are a flat $40 fee, whereas remodels and additions are the fees are based on the value of the project. And those permits will require building plans and also other drawings for their approval. Some other permits would be fence permits. Those are required when you choose to either build the fence, move it, replace it, or repair just a section of the fence. And these are $20 permits. And during that review, we'll check for the height of the fence that you wish to install, the location, and also the materials that it's being built out of. So the reason for the review on that is to allow, to ensure public safety, keep the neighborhoods uniform, providing privacy, and also reducing the noise. For sheds that are 200 square feet or less, that's going to require a site plan showing where that shed is located, and it's a $40 permit for those, whereas detached garages and structures larger than 200 square feet, those are going to be value-based permit fees, and will require a site plan and also some building and construction plans to review for that. Deck permits, they're going to require construction drawings as well as a site plan for those projects. Deck permits are needed regardless the size of the structure and whether it's detached or attached to the house. Some other permits that would require, or some other projects that would require some permits would be water heaters, furnace and air conditioner changeouts, electrical panel replacements, garage heaters, as well as lawn sprinklers. Some work that doesn't require permits would be flooring, cabinets and countertop, painting, gutters, soffit, and fascia replacement. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Neil.
So then well, just a few reminders out there. We have through siouxfalls.gov, we have our CSS accounts. It's customer self-service. That's a free account you can apply for through the city of Sioux Falls. Anything you can come and do at our city center with our staff, you can do online in the comfort of your home if you choose. You can submit plans, pay for your permits, schedule inspections. That can all be done online through that CSS account. Hiring contractors. So if you got a project where you're hiring a contractor to do that work, we highly recommend that you use a licensed contractor through the city of Sioux Falls. The benefit of that is we hold the permit holder responsible for the work to get done properly and to code. So if you're a licensed contractor, he's licensed the city to take out permits, he's taking the responsibility of his work. Whereas if you take the homeowner you take the permit out as a homeowner and then hire a contractor, we are gonna hold you responsible for that contractor's work. So that's the benefit of making sure you're hiring a licensed residential contractor for the city of Sioux Falls. And plan ahead. It's busy. Sioux Falls is a booming town. Some of your re-shingles, sheds, fences, siding, windows, those are permits that'll be issued over the counter. You'll come in and probably leave with a permit, but a large deck, house remodel, basement finish could possibly be a day or two. So that might be something our team takes in and wants to take a little more time at. So, and then inspections. Our inspection team, they do not same day inspections, but generally if you call a day ahead, they're going to be out there the next day to do that inspection. So if you've got work that you want to do over the weekend, but it needs to get inspected before it gets covered up, you got to make sure you're calling in Wednesday or Thursday to get that inspection done. Another thing, call 811. So if you're doing a fence or a deck or you're going to be digging any holes, call 811. Make sure you're getting all your utilities located. And then you can always call us if you have questions before, during, or even after. Just if you got a project, you can give us a call. 367-8670 is our number. Corey's team will answer that line. They can answer some questions. If you have a specific question on electrical, mechanical, or something like that, they'll get you in touch with the proper inspection manager to answer those questions for you. With that, if you have any questions, I can answer those.
To what degree, how often do you find unpermitted work, and what are the consequences for it?
It's more often than one would think. We try to do our best to verify what we can without having to do deconstructive work, but a very common one is a lower level. A lot of people buy a house with an unfinished basement and they just go to work, especially unfortunately, a lot of new homeowners, first time owning a home, they don't realize it. And then 5-6 years down the road, they're wanting to sell their house and realized, and then unfortunately, we can't inspect what we can't see. So a lot of times drywall is coming off and you're almost starting at zero again to get that taken care of. So
Let's say hypothetically, somebody builds a house in 1998, all right, and goes to sell it maybe 20 years later, but they did their basement, new house, new construction, did their basement themselves in, say, 2005. How are you going to know when that house goes to be sold if that work was permitted, not permitted? How does that even show up?
we have records that go back, many, many years. Even in the 70s, we found records. But a lot of the times that's up to the realtor when they're listing the house to do that research for their buyers or for their sellers to see if that work was done with or without a permit. So yeah, there are times where it might be the second or third buyer of that home, owner of that home, that they didn't know when they bought it, but it gets found down the road, and yeah, it has to get corrected with permits.
On
It
a
happens.
regular
Not
basis.
often, but it happens. So
Also, what do you estimate, or how can you know how many, particularly smaller contractors there are out there who just don't get permits, whether they're building decks or doing, appliance swap outs, that kind of stuff, that they're working below the radar?
Yeah, there's not a good way to track it. Generally, we find out when they're calling us, the homeowner has a problem, and they're calling us, and we look for the permit, and, oh, sorry, we don't have any record of that, and then it becomes a civil issue on that homeowner to get that taken care of. Work that's going on outside, our inspectors, that's their job, is to inspect construction projects, so they're going all day, every day, doing their inspections, anytime, 15, 25 inspections a day, and they're in the neighborhoods, so they kind of learn to recognize people working in their areas and see projects, and it's quite easy for them to pull over in 30 seconds. They can tell if a permit's issued on a house if they see work going on, so.
Why don't people get them? What do you hear? Is it just the worry about taxes, valuation?
I think a lot of interior work, we hear that, especially a basement, they didn't want their taxes to be raised on them. I think a lot of it is maybe fear of codes, and I might be doing something wrong, or it might cost me more money. That might be one thing we hear, and just, I think, lack of a knowledge. Generally, it's the small projects we're finding that are unpermitted. They didn't realize they needed a permit to change out a window. I'm just reciting my garage. That's just the small projects that get overlooked by homeowners. They just didn't realize needed one, so.
Can you gauge how busy this spring and summer are going to be, just based on the number of permits you're seeing so far?
With what we see coming in, our commercial side, the city of Sioux Falls is very busy. The brand-new residential is down a little bit. Every year, the remodel and the home improvement projects, they kind of just stay level. There's just a ton of that work going on. Those guys are always busy. So I would say if we have any low numbers this year, you're going to see it on the new residential side, but the commercial is booming. It's going to be another great year for commercial construction in Sioux Falls.
Do we see that homeowners doing it themselves rather than hiring out a contractor?
Oh, would you say 60-40? 60% contractors, 40% homeowners, so, yep. That's a great way to save money by doing it yourself, and so that's why you see a lot of them do want to try to attempt that project on their own, is just they can save quite a bit of money, so.
Is the overall economy, is that going to have an impact on remodeling projects and things like the home improvement projects, do you think? Like the cost
I
of
think one of the fears we hear from some of the home builders is the tariffs, and I think that's where a lot of the speculation right now is. Mainly the home builders is where I'm hearing it from, is they're worried lumber prices and stuff. They don't know what to commit at. They're kind of confused on the direction they need to head with that. So, but that's really the only thing I've been hearing. So,
bottom line, what should people be doing right now then?
If you just call us, if you have questions or you're in the process, just give us a call and we'll lead you in the right direction. We're here to help. The last thing our inspectors would call it a perfect day if they passed every inspection that they had. We're not out there to get people or say, I gotcha. We want to help you. We want to see it done right. So just call us, we're a tool. We're a tool to help you get your project done. So.
How often do the inspections fail?
Oh, that's probably a 50-50. And major fails, those are pretty slight. It's usually just something that got overlooked, like a house. I use the example, I get that question. I use the example of a house framing. The framer's, it's not his job to know code. It's his job to frame a house and build, and he's worried about tomorrow and the next day and the next house. So things just get overlooked. And that's our job, is just to go and find those things that get overlooked. So that's usually what we're finding, is just those type of items. So.